Back in the garage, back in the garage, back in the garage today, back in the garage. Alright guys, back in the garage today. You might be able to see my Honda CRF230 behind me. Gonna do an upgrade to it today, a little install video, something I think is gonna make it look a little cooler and also be a bit more functional. And it's also something you can do to your own dirt bike, even if it's not the same brand. Alright, so on the agenda today are some new, you can call them bark busters, whatever you want to call them, but basically they are wraparound hand guards for the dirt bike. These are the little plastic covers that go on to actually protect your hands from trees and limbs and stuff like that. And then these will wrap all the way around to the end, both protecting your hands and protecting your levers to hopefully keep them from getting broken in the chance of a crash. And oh yeah, like all these boxes and stuff, Kristen ordered new patio furniture, so it's in the garage until the weather gets a little better. And you may notice that the grip goes all the way to the end, and actually on both sides. We're on the throttle side. First thing we're going to do is loosen up the throttle and slide it off a little bit to give us a little room to work here. With the throttle loosened up, so you can see I've pulled it off there. First thing I'm going to do is take a knife and I'm going to cut the end of this off, and then we're going to expose the throttle tube. I'll show you what to do next. Also over here on the clutch side, need to cut this out. You can see I pulled the throttle tube out past the end there. I'm actually going to use the Sawzall because whoever cut this out before, who owned it before me, didn't do a very good job, and that's just going to rub on the handlebar. Alright, that literally took 2 seconds to cut off, and now that shoulder's gone. Now I'm going to slide the tube off here off camera for a second, just clean up inside there and make sure there's no debris. Alright, so you can tell my cut wasn't perfectly straight, but it's good enough. And you just want to push this back end. So we've got, you know, maybe about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of the actual handlebar hanging out. Also make sure that it snaps back okay. Alright, so you're going to take your bar end, you're going to grab one of these non-threaded adapters, then you're going to grab one of the threaded ones. Just going to spin that on. Alright, so the little taper lock there on the end, you're just going to insert this into your bar end. As you can see, it slides right in. Now they actually give you an Allen wrench to use, so we're just going to use this to, it's 5mm. If you got one, you can use your own. We're just going to use that to tighten this up. Basically all you want to do, you want to make sure this is parallel to the ground. Just snug it up enough that it'll hold in place. Now we're going to get the clamping mounts to finish up the installation process. Okay, so to get the clamp mounting hardware on, you're going to use one of these, and as you can see, I've got it set up right here right now. You don't want to tighten this down. Next thing we're going to do is take this piece, and it's going to go right like that, and we're going to use these two Allen heads to snug that up tight. Alright, so we got everything tightened down here, and also back here. Now you can see I've still got a little bit of a gap right there. Don't over tighten these, you're just going to end up stripping them out. These things aren't going anywhere. Now we're going to do the same exact thing to the clutch side. Now as I went to put the bar end on this one, I noticed my brake lever sticking out a little far, so I'm going to adjust this in a little to give me some clearance. Alright guys, the hard part's done. We've got the bars mounted. Let's move on to the last step. The last step is to get the plastic deflectors mounted. Now these do come in all sorts of colors, but I decided to go with the white ones for my bike. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's relatively straightforward. They do recommend putting a bead of silicone around right there. But we're just going to use these little mounting pieces and these screws to mount them directly onto the bars. So this is fairly straightforward. You're just going to line this up here on the end. We're going to take this first little bracket like so. Just hold it up against there. We don't want to tighten anything down quite yet. We just want to get them started, and then we can make some fine-tuned adjustments. Alright, so we got the first one on. It's not tight. We're going to do the same thing here. Now keep in mind, these are plastic, so they're just going to bend around. Don't be afraid to break them. That said, if it's really, really cold where you're working, you might want to warm this plastic up just a little bit to make it a tad bit more pliable. Before I show you the finished product, when you're mounting these clamps on, make sure not to try to tighten one all the way down before the other. Tighten this one a little, tighten this one a little, and go back and forth. Same thing up here. Just make sure you're doing it in equal amounts. That way you're not pulling one real tight and the other one's loose. It'll make life a whole lot easier. Another quick tip when you're trying to figure out how far this one should go around, you got to make sure you can read the ride on Moto. So that's your little guideline there. Didn't show you guys that till just now. I think that is super trick. These were custom done for Ride on Moto, so of course I wanted them on my bike. And one last thing, be sure to take off those Enduro engineering decals unless they're sponsoring you, and just throw one of them away and throw the other one over on your cabinet. And instead, put yourself some kick-ass two-wheeled rider decals on there because they look so much better, and they match the ones over here as well. So anyway, guys, that's the finished product. I think they look pretty cool. I may be just a bit biased because I think my logo looks pretty trick on there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's install video of the Enduro Engineering deflectors. I think they look good. I can't wait to try them out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I look forward to you being one. And I'll talk to you again soon.